All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's a leg day today. We have a lower body workout, and we also are going to be working our core today. So we're going to start off with the legs. For equipment, I am going to be using the infamous chair, so you guys can use your chair, bench, couch, ottoman, whatever you have. In place of this, there will be a non-chair bench option as well. And then my dumbbells and my bands are going to come out to play today. I'm not wearing shoes because we're not doing any sort of jumping around or cardio. That being said, if you prefer training in shoes, then put them on or take them off or do whatever floats your boat. We're going to get you guys started. No equipment needed for our warm-up. You just need some space. We're going to come to the end of our mat, standing up nice and tall, hip width apart in our feet, soft knees, going down into our walkout. When we get to the bottom, we're going to step in as close as we can with one foot, as close as we can with the other foot, and then we'll walk back up to the top. When you get to the top, we'll reach above our head and do it again, doing 5 total on this first set here. Just stepping in as close as we can. Not sure what this band is doing over here. And then reaching those arms above our head and going through 3 more of these. So we're getting that bit of a stretch through the back of my leg. Just grabbed onto that plant by accident. We're gonna move over a bit. So we'll go through 5 total, trying to get your foot beside your hand, but working with what you got going on. It's early in the morning today, right now. So we're going through 5 of those total. Woohoo! Once you guys are done, we are going to come up and stand up over to one side of our mat. We're working with our double side lunge. So you can take a step out to the side. We're going to shift our hips back behind us, shift over to the side, and then push ourselves up to the top. That was 1. We're going to do 10. So hips back, a little bit of lengthening stretch happening in that inner thigh, and then we push ourselves over with that other side. So stick the butt out, keep it stuck out, and then push yourself up. So we're going through 10 total, 5 on each side. Looking for that stretch in your inner thigh. You should feel it going on in that adductor. And we're doing 10 of those total. 5 per side. These ones feel nice. A little bit of coordination, I know. Always in the warm-ups. We gotta get the brain going. All right, so once you guys are done, we're gonna bring ourselves down onto the floor into this all 4 position, hands in the knees. We are working with a bird dog. So I'm gonna take my toes and grip them into the floor like this, so that when I extend my arm and leg, I have my foot bent like so. So I'm extending my heel back, not pointing my toe. And then I'm coming back in and I'll switch sides and we're doing right side, left side, opposite arm, opposite leg into this nice strong bird dog, working with 20 total, 10 on each side, trying to stay in tune with what's happening in our core. We're not arching through our back or rounding our back or having any movement really happening through the body. 20 total. So we should feel our glutes, the bootay on that kick back, because the way your foot is, that heel is kicking back, leading the way, which helps us get that nice squeeze in the glutes. So we'll go through those. Yes. And then once you guys are done 20 of those, don't go anywhere because we're going to stay down here and pop up into a plank position. Step in and open out to the side. So we're going through 10 of these total, 5 on each side, staying in the plank, alternating what foot we step in, stepping in as close as we can, and then opening up. So if you're finding that this is a little uncomfortable, what you can do is put your knee down on the floor, and rather than staying in a plank, you can just stay down on your knees so that you are more stable. You get that opening, that T-spine, mid-back opening without falling over, losing your balance, all of that stuff. So we'll go through 10 of those, 5 per side, and then you guys are gonna flip over onto your back into a dead bug. Yes. So arms and legs are going to extend up into the air. We have the knees sitting right over top of the hips, the wrists and hands right over top of the shoulders, and then no space between your lower back and the floor. It is tight down there. Nothing can fit between here. So that's step number one. We're going to take the right arm and the left leg and lower them. If you need to keep the knee bent, you can, but we have to keep that back down. So if you go to straighten out your leg and you lose this contact, then do not do that. We're going to rather bend the leg so that we can keep it nice and tight back there. So try to find this coordination, the opposite arm and the opposite leg. And we're going through 20 total, 10 on each side, and we're alternating. So we're really trying to wake up, of course, your core muscles, your abs, the brain, connecting your brain and your limbs to do what you want your body to do is maybe the hardest part of this one. Of course, you're going to feel your core and all that. So we'll go through those 20 total. And then you guys are going to grab onto your bands. So if you are working with loop bands, we really only need one. I'm going to use like a medium to stronger set band. If you don't have a stronger, heavier band, you can either use 2 of these. And if you don't have any bands, you're just going to follow along with no bands involved. We're going to take the band and put it around our knees so that it is sitting right above our knees, not too much higher than our knees though, and get ourselves back onto our back, but this time into this bridging position. So we're laying here. We should be able to feel our heels with a reach. So not right away, but if you reach, they are there. And then we want the heels hip width or a little bit wider than your hips. So just a tiny bit wider. And then we're going to push the knees out so that they're sitting with your heels. Pushing your lower back into the floor, we'll extend the hips all the way up to the top and go through 10 reps of this straight bridge where we go up and down, keeping the tension on the knees, focusing on touching the lower back, and then pushing up and squeezing your butt at the top. So we'll go through 10. Once you guys are done 10, we're going to go into 10 more where we come up and open at the top. So just a slight abduction, opening up, resetting, and coming down. And you should start to be really feeling your butt working as you go through this. Try to think about it. And we're doing 10 like this now. So we started off with just going up and down, and now we've added in this abduction at the top of each of your reps. So we're going through 10. Following along the same without a band again, you're just doing your thing. Once you're done 10, we're going to hold, push up and hold, squeeze, find that nice contraction with your butt, and then we're just opening now. Opening and resetting, not closing because we don't want to come any closer than where we started. Just going wider, and we're going for 10 reps total. We should be really starting to get it going on back there. So we'll go through 10, and then you guys can just relax your hips on the floor. Just take a quick moment to yourself here. So we are going to do one more set of this, and this is going to get you guys nice and warmed up and ready for the 2 exercises that we are going to start with that are, of course, lower body strength exercises. So before we do those, we are going to complete one more set of exactly what we just did. So same deal, push the back, exhale, push the hips up. We're trying to do that pelvic tilt, which you should be doing anyways if you push your lower back down. So we just want to keep that little bit of a crunching feeling as you go through, and let's go. So we'll go through 10, up and down with the hips, followed by 10 up with the abduction at the top. Trying to really feel it back there. The more that you can activate your glutes and get them working now, the more inclusive and effective the next part's going to be. So we'll go through 10 with that abduction and finishing off with a hold with just the 10 knees out. So you're going to feel this definitely the same, maybe not quite as much without a band, but we're following along the same way, imagining that you're having to work against that band. So we'll go through 10, and then you guys can unband, and ouch, your butt is probably feeling it. We're gonna stand up. Get up here. We're gonna start you guys off with your 2 leg exercises. So we have sumo deadlifts. Of course we do, because it's Friday, and sumo deadlifts are the one of our Friday leg exercises that we've been working on. So this is the one we're gonna start with. You guys are going through 15 reps of our sumo deadlifts. So you can weight these with bands or dumbbells, ideally dumbbells, holding the dumbbells down here, working with this sumo deadlift fashion. If you don't have access to dumbbells, you can grab either a heavy household item or band up with your long bands. If you don't have long bands, you can sub in a banded sumo squat instead of this deadlift if you feel you don't want to hold something down there. So let's start you guys off with this one. We're going through 15 reps of it. And yes, we are pairing this with something, with a hamstring curl, which we are going to talk about when you're done your first set of these deadlifts. Okay, so let's go. Let's do it out. So if you are having access to lots of different dumbbells, you can start off a little bit lighter doing a warm-up set. So we'll start off with your wide feet. I only have these 2 8-pounders, so I'm going to start with these 2. Set the shoulder blades together, soft knees, push the hips back, and then we bend the knees as soon as those dumbbells are above the knees, and then we reverse out of that. So hips back first. When the dumbbells are right above the knees, we bend, push the knees out, and then we come up and out of that same position. So we're making sure to drive back, and you're going through 15 total, pushing your knees out as much as you can. We should never feel your knees against your forearms or your wrists, because you're applying so much pressure using the muscles in the sides of your hips to keep your knees out. So let's go through those. You guys have 15 total. Yeah. So we are going to pair this with a hamstring curl. Now we have options on how we can do this hamstring curl. The first option is accessible to you if you have hardwood or tile floor, and that is using a towel on the floor, going in a bridge position and pulling in our feet like we would if we had a stability ball or something along those lines. So we're going to talk about that. Some of us don't have access to that. So how you can do this is either with a dumbbell, laying on your tummy like this, where we hold that dumbbell between our feet. And you don't need a lot of weight. 8 pounds is going to be adequate for me. And then I'll cross my hands over, forehead on my hands, and then I'll pull up to 90 degrees, down right before the dumbbell hits the floor, and then up to 90 degrees. So we're working through 10 reps of these ones here. The harder you squeeze the dumbbell, the more you focus on your hamstrings and your butt, the more you're going to feel this. So that's one way to do this. If you don't have any of that, you don't have dumbbell and you're on floor that's not slippery, you can't put your heels on something and slide, then you can do this extended bridge here, where we're in this bridge position and we have our feet out and we're just extending up, and you can walk your feet, just gonna move my dumbbell a little bit, you can walk your feet in and out and go through your 10 reps like this, and you'll feel some tension on your hamstrings. It's not as direct as doing an actual curl, but it's going to get the job done if that's all that you have access to. So let's work through this. You guys are working through 4 sets of this. So we're going to go through 3 more of them. Yes, taking a little bit of rest, keeping it under a minute though, so that you guys can get through this. Yeah. So for those of you who are working with that hamstring curl with the towel, you can also use pretty much any sort of fabric. I have these fuzzy socks because they are in my office because I was using them last time. And then you can put your heels on them like so. And then we can go through that one where we let our heels out and then relax our hips and pull in like so. And so you could use a towel or whatever it is. If you have actual sliders or something like that that you can use on carpet, that works too. But this is a really great way to work those hamstrings. Whether you want to do it over the dumbbells instead of, it doesn't matter. But this is how she is done. So we're working up to eventually pulling our heels in with our butt up, but it's really damn hard, you guys, and we don't do too much of this hamstring curling stuff. So I would suggest to start hips up, let your heels out nice and slow, hips on the floor, and then pull in and reset. And that's a great way to get your hamstrings ready and used to this exercise without working them too much and making yourself at risk of injury, because we don't want to hurt ourselves. And the hamstrings they're quite prone to injury. They're very easy to pull and all that. Nobody wants that. All right, so we're working through this. Feeling all the things. That's perfect. Good job, you guys. Awesome. Wonderful. Yes, that's perfect. Janice has got her banded squat. That's awesome. Yes, so for those of you who, again, are not having access to dumbbells, or you maybe have a sensitive lower back, what you can do is work with just this banded squat here, and same rules apply. We're in more of a sumo stance, so a little bit wider, and that just gets us ready and sets us up to be able to push our knees out, just as in that sumo deadlift here. And with the banded squat, if you are doing this, you just can't go too wide, because if you go too wide, what happens is this band will just roll up. I don't want it to happen, but it'll roll up, and you don't want that. So that's why I set you guys up a little bit more narrow than I would if you were doing the actual deadlift with dumbbells, and you can go through that. So we're working through 4 rounds total. Looks so good. Yes, perfect. Stick it out, hips back, knees apart. Very nice. Looks really good, you guys. Perfect. So we'll work through these 4 rounds of them. So you guys have probably at least 1 or 2 more. Let's get them. Let's get them. There you go. So take a little bit of rest in between your sets, so that again we can go into nice strong sets. You guys have lots of time. We have at least a couple, 2 to 3 minutes left to get through 1 to 2 more sets, depending on how many you have left. So lots of time to take your time. For the legs, so push your knees out. Think about spreading out the floor with your feet, with your knees. There you go. Let's get it. Good work, you guys. So let's get through these last couple sets. The hamstring curls. So a very common thing with the hamstring curls is feeling your calves more than your hamstrings. The calf is that lower bottom leg muscle in the back there. So regardless of what variation you're doing of the hamstring curl, you can avoid that by making sure that your feet stay bent like this at 90 degrees and they never go straight like this. So especially if you are doing the one on your back, we want to make sure that you're kind of flexing your feet the entire time, and that's just going to help you feel more ham and not calf, because it's a very common thing, because those 2 muscles, they work together, and especially if you are putting yourselves into this position, it's going to work that even more. So think about that on your last set here if you were feeling that. You guys have 1 more potentially. She's done. Tanis, you have 1 more there? You all done? She's done? Yeah, you're done. Perfect. All right, so you can just rest it out. We'll let you guys finish up here. We have a couple minutes left to do our final set to make it 4. So if you are done, you can just grab some water and hang out and prep your chair, because that is going to come out to play in the next part. There we are. Okay, so you guys can take your time with this stuff. finishing just as strong as you started. We technically have 1 minute left until we need to move on to the next part. So if you're already done, you can get yourself a setup. We are starting the next part, which is including this chair, your couch, your ottoman, your bench, whatever it is. We are doing a split squat off of it. So that is our rear foot elevated split squat. Looks a little something like this. So you guys can get yourself into formation. Keep your weights and your bands close if you are going to be using them. Today, you guys have a higher or a lower rep. We're doing 10 reps only on each side for these split squats, which is good news. Since we haven't done anything really single leg, we're gonna start off with a warm-up set with no weight involved before we go into this working weighted set of 10. So get yourself set up with your chair. If you don't have access to a chair or something with a soft top, you can just put your foot on the floor like this, and you can work with the same similar split squat or lunge without the rear foot elevated. So we're getting into position so that when we sink down, we have 90 degrees at both of our knees, and that's something that you might have to adjust, whether you hop a little bit or actually get out and move if that's safer for yourself. And let's start this by going through 10 reps body weight, where we're just getting our body used to this split squat, seeing how it feels, sussing it out. We'll go through 10, and then you can switch, and we'll do 10 on the other side. So we'll go through 10 and 10, sending the hips back, sinking down and back so you get that nice big stretch in your glutes, and going as low as your mobility allows. So the goal is to go down to 90 degrees. If you can't quite get there, whether you have sensitive knees, whatever it is, just play with it so that it is safe more than anything else. So this is our first exercise. Like I said, that was our warm-up set, because if you ask me, if you want to talk about it, I think that was a little bit easy maybe. So what we're going to do is make it a bit harder by adding some resistance. You guys are working with the same amount of reps, 10 reps only. We're going to go right into our first official set where we're going to be completing 10 reps on each side. Pairing this one, you guys have a seated sumo squat. So what we're going to do is get ourselves back into that sumo position here. I'm just going to turn this slightly so you guys can see what's going on. And we are going into a sumo where we sit our hips down onto that chair, and optional, holding the weight in the front goblet style here. You guys are working with 10 reps total of this one. And then we're going to rest and complete as many sets of this as we can in 6 minutes. We're back here. So this is something that we did on Tuesday, was that? Yes. We are going to do this 2 times, so you guys can expect that. I'm starting the timer right now. It has started, and here we go. So we're going to complete as many rounds of these 2 exercises as we can in the 6 minutes that we have. So most likely you've already started. Yay you. You get a little extra, a little half set extra, maybe extra set, whatever it is. It's all good. We can start onto that second exercise if you're already there, or you can start your first official set of these split squats where we're doing 10 on each side. So 10 on this side, and then we'll switch, and you can do 10 on the other side. Normal tempo. If you're working with the bands, we have that anchored band around opposite foot. And you can go through like so, going through the same at 10 and 10. So once we're done, we're setting ourselves up if you want to hold on to weight at your chest. If you feel like you're going to get more out of this, if you add weight, which is definitely going to make it harder. So we'll set ourselves up into that sumo stance, wide feet, toes out. And then we'll sit so that we actually touch the chair with our butt, and then come all the way up and out of it. So we're going through these guys, more of a squat than a deadlift. So I'm trying to sit straight down, and my knees can come forward slightly so that I'm not sinking back as much as I was in that deadlift. So we're going through 10. Once you're done, put the weights down for a second. Shake it out. Quick sip of water. Do it again. You guys have 4 minutes left. So it's about 3 sets, 3 to 4, depending on how quickly you go. Keep in mind with this stuff, I would highly prefer you to do maybe 3 sets, and make them really hard, maybe slow down, make them so challenging that you have to take a little bit of rest in between. I prefer that over you doing like 5 or 6 sets as fast as you can, just blasting through this as quickly as possible, no control, because you're just trying to go for as many sets as possible. Because this is strength focused stuff, the more slower, more challenged that you can be within these sets, within these exercises, the better. So you guys have just over 3.5 minutes left to go through this. Yes. There we go. Nice work, you guys. So we'll go through these 10 and 10 and 10. There you go. So push those knees out on those sumo squats. Same rules apply if you are working with bands. By all means, if you're feeling way too worked in your hips by now, because we've done a lot of banded stuff and you might just need a exercise without the band, you can not use the band and just work body weight and just focus on pushing those knees out as much as you can, squeezing your butt at the top. But if you do want to, you could add this band back around your knees. And it's certainly, ooh, see this band was a little bit torn too. It's certainly going to make it a lot harder. And yeah, this is what I do with bands that break on me, is I just tie them and I keep using them. Maybe not the best advice, but it's all good. Or I retire them to like long bands and I use them for upper body stuff. Anyways, you can actually buy bands like this that are just like long rolls and you can tie them up. It's like physio. You guys probably seen that in physio. Anyways. We made it. So if I was to have this band on here now, that is going to make it a lot harder because the entire time this band wants my knees being pulled in. So I'm having to work it to keep them out, which maybe you've already been doing. So we have 2 minutes left. Yay. Nice work, you guys. 2 minutes. Split squats and sumo squats. There you go. Looks so good. All right, we got just over 1 minute left for you guys to complete this set. Keep in mind, you will be back here. We are coming back for a second set of this, but only 2 sets, so that's good news. All right, you guys have 1 minute left. So we'll try to even out what we're doing here. If you are just starting your split squats, I will tell you when we have about 30 seconds left so that you can switch sides. If you're just starting your squats, well, you can either make this set really hard and last the entire amount of time that we have left, or maybe it's hard enough already, just complete your sets and you can rest the remainder of time that we have left, which is 40 seconds. So let's do it. So if you think that there's any part of you that can just keep going on these, if you're doing the sumos, then just keep going. We got 30 seconds left, so if you were working with the split squats, then you can go ahead and switch legs so that we are evening out what we are doing. All right. There you go. Good job, you guys. Keep moving here. We got 10 seconds left. Okay. I'm going to leave this bad boy run until the end. For 3, 2, 1, and time. Nice work. Okay, so we're going to do the same style on 2 different exercises. Do it up and then complete one more set of both of these supersets, and then we are moving on to the last part, which is core on the floor. So next up, we have a single leg hip thrust. Now, ideally, I would like this to be done off of your bench, your chair, but this can absolutely be done off of the floor. If you find that this is too hard for you to do, 15 reps is our number to be today. So we're working with 15 on one side, and then we'll switch, and you're doing 15 on the other side. And we're pairing this one with a wall sit variation, which I'm going to talk about after you guys start, because we want to start so we can finish. Okay, so let's start down here. We're doing 15 and 15 right about Now, here we go. Timer started. So if you don't have access to the chair or if you feel like it's just too dang hard, you can do this off of the floor. Push the back into the floor, narrow feet, hips up, lift one leg, and then you can go through this same single leg hip thrust. Less range, so it's gonna feel easier, more possible for you to get your hips all the way up to the top, which is the goal. We're going to tuck this knee in as close as we can up, regardless if you're on the chair or not, and that's going to help us avoid this flaring of the ribs. We do not want that. So we'll go through 15 and 15. Once you guys are done, we're going to stand up. Oh yes, we are. So we're pairing this one with a wall sit. Oh yeah. Now, recently, over the past couple weeks, we've been doing wall sits, yeah, but we've been doing them off of a timer. Today, we're not on a timer. You guys are gonna have to count. So I have a couple of options on things that you can do in your wall sit to count. Now, right away, if you don't have a wall that you're comfortable sitting against, you're just gonna hold a squat here, and you can focus on a couple things that I'm gonna talk about. You have the wall. We're gonna get into formation. Wall sit. Now, hardest thing that you can do here is the leg extensions. This is ideally what I would like you to be doing, but it's really dang hard. So I understand that everyone might not be able to do this. The rep count is 20. So if you find you can't quite do that, you can do either calf raises like this or toe raises like this. So the calf raises are a little bit easier. We want to make sure that our butt and our back stays against the wall the entire time. The toe raises are a bit harder. They wake up the muscles in your quads a lot more than the calf raises. So we'll go through 20 of either one of those, not all of them, just pick one. If you're doing these ones, it's 10 per side, 20 total. Once you're done, legs, we're gonna do it again. Same thing, you have 6 minutes. Well, you have 3.5 left already. This one takes us a little bit longer. So same idea, we'll try to get through at least 2 more rounds of this. Not stressing out about completing more than that or even getting those 2. I want you guys to just focus on these exercises. Think about your muscles. Try to do them as well as you can within this amount of time that you guys have. So we'll go right into those hip thrusts. Upper back on that padded chair or bench. Narrow feet. Pelvic tilt, core is tight. Lift up, drive that knee up to your chin, and then we go. So if you have like a chair, you can extend or couch, you can extend your arms out, or a bench. I have my elbows kind of hugging onto my chair because you guys know the drill with my whole set $150 table and chair IKEA set here. It's very rickety, and so I like to keep it really stable, and so that's why I have my elbows back like that, so I'm holding it in place just so it doesn't fall over or something like that, because that would not be good, especially not on video. So you guys have 2.5 minutes left, so take your time with this stuff. We're trying to just go through these ones back to back, little to no rest in between. Going into our wall sit, so 90 degrees. Holding the wall, especially if you're working with those leg extensions, having your arms on the wall is going to help you stay more stable and avoid too much lateral movement in your body. So because we've kind of been working on these, hopefully you guys are feeling a little bit better in them. So here, and then extending the legs right and left. You can try narrowing up your feet, as sometimes that will help make this feel a little bit more stable as well. And the burning legs. Let's do it. We have 1.5 minutes left, just over. Nice job, you guys. Let's get. Awesome. All the way up to the top. Nice job, you guys. There it is. So we got 60 seconds left, my friends. Let's do it up. So we'll make sure that we are getting an even set in. Take our time with our set as well. We are almost there. All right, you guys. So we are there in about 30 seconds. So we'll keep ourselves busy until that time mark, whether you continue going on your last exercise there, or you just rest and you grab water and enjoy the transition time. Okay, everybody. So we are going to pause just about 10 seconds here. So stop what you're doing, even out what you're doing. I have stopped the timer, so it is not going to go off. We are going to move on to the last part here, the final part of the lower body strength before we move on to the core. So last part, what we're going to do is one more round of these 2 6-minute circuits. We're going to do these back to back. So I'm going to start the timer. We're going to go on the first 2 exercises, our split squats and our sumo seated squats. And then we're going right into these next 2. We'll take about a minute in between. And then we are all down on the floor until the end. So right into the split squats. We're starting off with them again. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. No worries if you need a little extra time. You guys got lots of time to do these. So we're going back into these guys, working through 10 reps on each side. Now, we just did stuff. Your legs are going to be much more tired, much more fatigued than they were in the first set, which is why we are back here doing it again. We're going to really tap into getting those leg muscles working, especially when they're in this more tired state. So if it feels a little bit harder, that's good. That's what we're going for. So we should not be able to get many more than those 10 reps on each side. Because we've got lots of time. So we'll take our time with it, slowing down. Yes. Okay, so we're pairing this one with that seated sumo squat. So we'll push those knees out as much as we can. Trying to think about your butt, think about pushing your knees out. That squeeze bringing you up to the top, weighting it at your chest if you want to make it a little bit harder. And maybe bending it around your knees. Let's get it, you guys. Last sets of this one. There we go. So take a little bit of rest, same idea here. Second set here, you might feel like you need to take a little bit more rest. Again, you're a little more tired, your legs are knowing that they're almost done. maybe that's your brain, I don't know. But we're gonna try to keep going here for 4 more minutes of this. So presumably 2 more sets, at least 1, maybe 2. You guys can make these 2 sets last a long time, but just going slower. Adding in that maybe 30-second rest period, but earning that rest. So making your sets hard enough that you actually need to take that rest. There we go. Split squats. You guys got the Friday split squats normally. The programs have been in on Mondays. We've been just like getting them done on Mondays, but we snuck them in on Fridays. Maybe you thought you were gonna get away with them without them. No, just bugging you. All right, you guys are halfway there. We have 3 minutes left, under 3 minutes. So we'll try to get through a couple more sets. Working through these. There you go. So making contact with your hips if you are working with that chair, that bench, so that you are coming down. We're not fully relaxing when we're down here, but we do want to touch the hips down to that chair, to that bench, and then stand up and off of it. There you go. Looks so good. Good job, you guys. Minute and a half. All right, so this is most likely going to be your guys' final set. Minute. So we'll take our time with it. We'll try to go out with a bang, make this as hard as possible on this last set here, knowing that it's the last time that you have to do this today. So 60 seconds left. Oh yeah. Good job, you guys. Let's get it. Yes. So we'll finish up strong here, making sure you are even on both sides. Good work, you guys. Let's do it. 30 seconds left. So if you are working the single leg, we will switch. Make sure you are getting work on both sides. Woohoo! Transitioning into the sumo squats to finish up your last set. Let's get it, you guys. Okay. Yes. All right, you guys, that is 6 minutes. So you can put your stuff down, take a very quick sip of water, ponder your life for like 10 seconds. We're gonna move on to the final superset, which is the one we just did, the single leg hip thrust and the wall sit. So I'm gonna start this timer so that we can finish, and we are finishing up on the floor with some core. It takes us about 9 minutes when we're done this. So let's get to work so that we can finish. Starting the timer right now. It has started, so have you guys. So we're working with that first one, that single leg hip thrust. You're doing 15 on each side. Now for most of you, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be very, very hard to do. 15 of these, getting the hips all the way up with that squeeze, because this is a very challenging exercise. For some reason you feel like it's not that hard. What I want you to do on this set is hold the top of each rep. So come up and hold, and see how that feels. Doing your 15 like that is probably, most definitely, gonna make it a lot harder. So not everyone, most of you are not gonna need to do that, because this is already a really hard exercise. You might even feel like you can't get your hips all the way up. You might have to do it off the floor. Totally fine. I'd rather you do that and get to the full extension than kind of half-ass it on the chair or bench. So once we're finished this one, we will peel ourselves off of the floor, off the bench there, and work into our infamous wall sit. So you guys have the option of the count, whether it's your leg extensions, your toe lifts, or your heel lifts. So that's the sequence of hardest to easiest, in my personal opinion, most people's opinion. So the leg extension is probably the hardest thing that you can do here. And then the toe lifts, second hardest, burns, and then the heel lifts. So it's giving us something to count. And if this is still too hard, what you can do is one heel at a time and just count 20 total. Especially on this, last set here. Your legs are most likely almost done. Like, they are quite tired so far. And so if you feel like you can't really do what you did on the first 2 sets, we're gonna damn well try. And if you still can't, then just do one of the other options that I showed you so that you can keep going. So we're halfway there, 3 minutes. Yay! Well done, butt. You guys should be feeling your glutes. And of course, your front of your legs, your quads on that wall sit, all of that. But definitely your butt should be working hard on these hip thrusts. So try to prioritize that, make that happen for yourself. There we go. Nice job, you guys. So we have just about 2 minutes left. Awesome. All right, 2 minutes of this stuff. And we're done this stuff for today, for the week. It's Friday, last workout day of the week. Until next week. Let's go. Let's finish strong here, you guys. We have 1 minute and 45 seconds to get this in. Last couple strong sets here. Let's do it. And my hair's falling out. Let's get it. Come on, you guys. Finish just as strong as you started. There you go. Trying to do the same thing that you did in the last set. I know you're tired, but you so have this. You just have to keep going for 1 more minute. 1 minute is about the amount of time that one of these will take. So whether it's the hip thrust on both sides or the wall sit with the count, it takes about a minute, maybe 45 seconds. So try to just pace yourself. Think about keeping on going in this one until the end, until I say stop, which is gonna be in just about 30 seconds. Let's get it, you guys. Let's do it. Pushing ourselves until the end here. Awesome. Nice work, you guys. So finish strong. We got 20 seconds left. So we'll even it out. Just starting your single leg. We'll switch sides. You got 15 seconds. Oh, yeah. Good job, you guys. I know this is a burner. You're feeling all these things. You just want it to be done. And it is in 3, 2, 1, and time. You are done that stuff. Amazing job. Okay, so we're going to move on to the final part, which is down on the floor. So much so that I am going to move us down here so that we stay down here. So you do not need any equipment, although there is an option for a optional dumbbell or a band on one of the exercises. First one we're going to do, all of them we're going to do are off of a timer. Yay, which means you guys don't have to count. So I'm going to pop you on this interval timer. We're working 30-second intervals with 10-second rest periods in between. The 10 seconds is not really rest, it's mostly just transition time to get between these exercises. We're completing 4 rounds of this and then we're going to be done. So the first one is going to be our half side plank where we work with this position. We're going to take this leg and bend it up to 90 degrees, and we're working with an internal, external rotation through the hip. So this is going to be you guys for 30 seconds. So get yourself into position. I'll show you the other ones on the timer so that we can get going here, so that we can be done. And we have the 10-second rest in between for you to switch sides. So we got to hustle. Ready, set, here we go. That was our beep. So you can extend your arm up or have it on your hip. If you're feeling like this is too challenging, you can also have it down on the floor here, but try to work it on your hip or in the air. So we're working with all on this side, external and internal rotation. Not moving this part of my leg, I'm just moving that lower leg up and down, and you'll feel so much work happening in this hip. So we'll push those hips forward and rest. So we'll switch sides. So I'm going to flip so that I can still see you guys, but if you want, you can just switch over. Ready? And here we go. So lifting up 90 degrees, and we're working now that internal and external on this side. Now, if you feel like this is too hard, if you're not going to make it, you can either hold or you can put your foot on the ground and work more like this clamshell situation rather than keeping it extended and working that internal external. So keep holding here, you guys. We have 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to move on here. If you have your dumbbell close or your band close, you can grab it in your hands. We're going into this bridge position, lower back into the floor, hips up into a bridge, and we're going to lift one leg up, put it back down, and lift the other leg up. And we're trying to keep this dumbbell as still as possible and not allow our hips to fall or our hips to tilt at all. So we're working through this one, holding this, doing this bridge march, trying to keep this dumbbell still. So hips up as much as you can and rest. All right, so last one before we repeat. You guys can come up if you're still holding your dumbbell. Keep it in your hands, chest up into this V hold or goat position. And we're gonna rotate right and left. For my lower back sensitive friends, you guys are just gonna hold this, or you can even have your hands on the floor behind you rather than adding in that rotation, because it most likely might not feel too good if you have a sensitive lower back. We're making sure to move through our torso right and left so that our shoulders are actually rotating side to side. And eventually we'll work on lifting up our legs to make it a little harder. And now we rest. So that was our first set. I'm doing it again. Back into this first one. Here we go. So half and the internal and the external. Let's do it. So we're working through that one there. Ooh, it burns. Good job, you guys. Breathe through this. Chest open, looking forward, looking up. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch sides. Nice work. So flip it over. Other side. Same thing. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's get it. So same deal, hand on your hip, hand up in the air. You're looking forward or you're looking up at your hand rather than looking down. Doesn't help us keep our chest open. So try to open it up, push your hips forward. We have 10 seconds left. Let's get it. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. 3, 2, 1, and time. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so we're going onto our back into this next one here. If you have that dumbbell close, grab it, lower back into the floor, hips up, and then we march without any movement, which is easier said than done. So we want to keep the dumbbell still, keep our hips still, so that we don't feel any sort of tilting happening when we go to lift up our leg. So you can think about squeezing the butt on the side that's going to take that weight before you lift the leg. And holding the dumbbell just makes it harder because we don't have the hands on the floor to help assist our balance and our stability. And time. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so we're taking that 10 seconds mostly just to sit up because we're starting the next one right away. Here we go. So rotating side to side, chest up, looking forward. Okay, if you feel like it's too hard, you can either take the weight out or just focus on this hold. If you need to use your hands on the floor, that's all good. For 10 more seconds, we've got to get you guys to do something. Hold it on strong here. 3, 2, 1. Nice job. All right, third set. We have 2 more and we're done. All the way done. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Third set. So we'll push those hips as forward as we can, and we're working with this internal and external rotation. Now, the bigger you make this, the harder it's going to be, because the more you're involving these muscles in your hip, which you probably feel are burning a lot right now. And so if you need to make it easier, you can just try to either not have such a big rotation, or you can put your foot actually on top of the other and just work with this opening and rest, because it burns. So let's switch sides and do the exact same thing that you just did on this other side. Let's do it. So same deal over here. There it is. Good job. Chest forward, hips forward. Yes, don't hold your breath. You guys are halfway, 15 seconds left. So keep working it. Same exact thing. Let's go. Stay strong here. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right, on our backs. Foot bridge, walk. So we're here, squishing that lower back, hips up, stabilizing before we lift up that leg so that this dumbbell does not move too much. Now you guys can see it's moving quite a bit for me. So I gotta kind of tighten it up here and slow down and think about this. Doesn't matter how fast you go. The most important thing is that you're keeping everything still except that lifting leg. 3, 2, 1. Oh, all right. Second last set of the twist. So chest up, shoulders back, legs up, and we go. Okay, so we're working through this one and trying our best to stay in this position. If we're still feeling our lower back too much, you can always come down onto your back here and just work with this squishing the back into the floor, putting your hands on your knees, and hold this here instead. Okay, you guys are almost there. 3, 2, 1, and last set. So we are here for the final set. We're going to do this one more time. 30 seconds on each of these. Half side plank. Let's go. So we're getting into position and working it. There we are. That burns a lot. 15 seconds left, you guys. I can't do too much of that with you because I've got to work out a little bit, and that will make me really sore. Let's go. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Other side. One more side of this one, and we are done this one. We have 2 more exercises, and then we're all the way done. All right, let's go. Lift it up. Here we go. Yes. Final round, final set. 20 seconds. Chest up. You guys got it. There you go. Couple more deep breaths. 10 seconds left. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Time. Nice work, you guys. All right, we're on our back. Laying on our back with our dumbbell in our hands. The bridge walks. Here we go. Final set of them. So hips up, walking one leg at a time, trying to keep everything as stable and as still as possible. Take those deep breaths, you guys. 10 seconds left. A couple more of them, not too many more. Take your time with them. Yep. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last one. That's the last. Okay, so we're going into this boat position, this V position, and here we go. So we're rotating 2 hands, moving with the shoulders side to side. When in doubt, just holding something for 20 more seconds because that is all the time that you guys have left. So let's get it. 10 seconds. Yes. Come on now. 3, 2, 1, and time. You guys are done. Amazing job. Okay, so we're gonna go into a stretch. You guys can stay on your back, because that's where we're gonna start the stretch. Just move your stuff out of your way so that you have some space. Whew. Hopefully you guys feel good. We're gonna start off on our back here with our T-spine rotation. So we'll lift up a knee, grab it with the opposite hand, and pull that knee over so we end up in this bow and arrow position, this rotated position. We're just going to hang here for a bit. So you can spend a little bit of time here, about 30 seconds, and then you can come back up and we'll switch and do the other side of this guy here. And feel free to come back and do a couple more sets. You'll feel hopefully a little bit looser as you go through holding more sets of this. And so this is your guys' first stretch that you can do. The other one that we should definitely do today is a quick child's pose to stretch out and loosen out our upper and lower back. So you guys can spend some time down here going through this. And then the last one that I would highly suggest that you do is kneel here and take this hip flexor stretch. Oh, Tanis. Okay, thank you so much, Tanis. Amazing job. She just wrote me a comment. I like that chat room. That's pretty much it. Hip flexors. And yeah, feel free to come back and do a couple more sets of that if you would like, guys. But you are done with me. Thank you so much for an amazing week of training. We will be back next week. And I have our PDF travel style workouts because I know, Darcy, you're going away? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to have those for you on Saturday in our Facebook group, a link to download them so you can take them with you wherever you end up going on through your travels. But anyways, thank you guys. I will see you guys all on the weekend in there. And yeah, have a great day and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. And of course, if you're watching the replay, I want to hear from you. So please drop a comment on this video or send me a message, whatever it is. That is all. Bye.